Hi, I'm Michael Buchwalder, and today you join me at Barston Lakes in Birmingham on what is now hopefully the start of winter. It's gone really cold last couple of days. We've had an absolute deluge of rain, so I'm thinking the fishing is going to be a bit harder today, but the last 4 weeks for me have been some of the best of my fishing career, really. Come second in the World Champs in Belgium, and then Barston Masters 2 weeks ago. Managed to draw a great peg, managed to not mess it up using some fantastic gear. Managed to catch 12 carp for £156. Won the Barston Masters, picked up £2,000. That's the reason we're here today. I'm going to try and run you through some of the real simple tactics that I've used that day to win the Barston Masters, and hopefully some more tips along the way. Fishing here at Barston's really good. You're looking for some real big fish. I've been fishing probably 15 minutes so far. I've had no indications, but I just know having the right setup and the right trap set, I'm going to catch a few big fish. Hopefully some 15, 16 pound commons like I had in the final. I'm sure they're going to catch a few today. Conditions are freezing cold, got a slight ripple into my face. It's really sunny, so I'm going to pick up the weather. It's going to warm up pretty quickly. The lake's going to warm up a little bit quickly as well. Sunshine always helps this time of year. So let's go and catch some fish. I'm going to start off today talking about how I start my peg here at Barston. It's not very warm. So conditions aren't perfect, like it's quite cold, so looking bites are going to be at a premium today. So how do I approach a peg? Do I bosh it in? Do I go for it? For me, a place like Barston, I don't even fish with a clip on my reel. Basically, I'm setting one trap per one fish, so I always wait to get a bit of a lull in the wind, give it the cast, make sure it hit the area. But what I do is, we're about 15 foot above the water, put my finger on the spool, and I'll show you how I do it in a minute. But I try and aim to get the feeder to land like a what you don't want it to go and doosh, hitting the water hard, because all I think you're doing then is scattering bait off the feeder. So each cast is like almost like military precision. I want it to land perfectly and set it down. If it doesn't land right, because I'm not fishing to a clip, I'm going to reel straight back in, remold the feeder and chuck it back out. That's the most important part for me this time of year, is getting your feeder to hit the water, land correctly. That way you know it's on the bottom, you've created a trap. Most people say, why don't you fish to a clip? Feeder fishing, we always fish to a clip, don't we? But this time of year, we're fishing for great big fish. You've got to remember Barston, after 2 hours, when I spoke to some other anglers on the far side who had 12, 13 carp, I had 4 carp. So, but my 4 carp were massive. I had 4 carp for probably 60, 65 pound. Now, have I caught them because I'm fishing a different spot, setting individual traps, or have I caught them because they're in my peg? I'd like to think I've caught them because I've not fished one area, I've fished several different areas, and the fish have come in just every now and then, pick one up. I've not got loads of little activity, loads of skimmers in me peg. Chumping me right was getting mithered by skimmers first 2 hours. I've not caught a single skimmer all day. Again, is that because I've set up different traps? I don't know, but I think so. So I'm chucking out, I'm sitting there, I'm timing 15 metres on my stopwatch or on my iPhone, just sitting there, press a button, 15 minutes before I reel back in. The way I look at it is, if you're reeling every 5 or 6 minutes, you're not creating that opportunity for a big fish to come over. And I say, on the match itself, I had 12 fish for £156, so you can tell how big they are. So that's how I like to fish. If I caught a fish on the same spot, I'm not automatically going to go back to the same spot and not clipped. I'm then going to chuck it maybe 10 yards further out, 5 yards shorter. I think this time of year, you've got to try and find fish. I don't think they come to you. I think you've got to chuck on the area, and especially places like here. If you see a fish show and it's in your peg, automatically, the next cast would be dead on top of that fish. So I think for me, starting matches this time of year on a method feeder for 10, 12, 13 fish, you've really got to think about your fishing. Don't just sit on a clip, chuck the same clip all day. Literally, fish your peg. You've got from here to 100 metres, fish from here to 100 metres, but try and find them. Location is key, and all the top carp boys that fish for specimen fish always look to find fish in this time of year. They don't try and get fish to come to them. So real massive important tip for winter, that. Yeah, he could be a carp. Nice, these are. He's a carp, Neil, for sure. a mad common, mad angry common. Now we've done the hard bit, we've cast out, we're in the right spot, the feed is loaded correctly, tip goes round. This is now the most vital time. It's got to be in the net. There's no point in hooking a fish when you're fishing for 10 or 12 fish and losing it halfway in. It needs to be in the keep net. So a couple of things I like to do. I always take the time. You get a bit of room on venues like this in winter time, so if it goes left, you turn your rod right. If it goes right, you turn your rod left. You're playing your fish, you're only fishing 6 pound main line, so it needs to be firm but not too firm. And the biggest thing now for me is when it comes up under your feet, I've got a 4 metre landing net handle. There's no point in having a landing net that's too short. If the fish comes up at 6 metres, I want to be putting my rod back and going for it first time. I don't want to be sat there struggling with a fish bouncing around the surface and me trying to net it. So massive, massive, vital, important bit of kit for me, 4 metre landing net handle. Couldn't be without it. £15, isn't he?
Look at the rudder on that.